All right, welcome to the Desmond Ong Show. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Alex Chee. Alex, before we get started, how about you quickly introduce yourself, what do you do, and what are you famous for?
Hey Desmond, thank you so much for having me on the show. So my name is Alex Chee. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I love everything about fitness, whether it's bodybuilding or just general fitness. And what I do is I actually just do social media.
Mhm.
Uh, Today, the people call this like social media influencer. I don't really like the word influencer,
Yeah,
but I generally use social media as a way to promote my business, promote my
right,
coaching business, where I
right.
help people get fit and kind of just change their mentality from someone who say they can't do something to they can do it by using fitness as a tool.
This,
So
this
yeah,
is
that's
so
kind of what I
interesting.
do.
Alex, I want to ask you because you know that there are a lot of personal trainers out there, and
Yeah.
there are also a lot of personal trainers that don't use social media. All they do is they rely on gyms, they rely on friends, refer friends to get clients. Like, how do you see social media help bring you to where you are right now? Like, I mean, if there is no social media, would you be who you are right now? Have you ever thought about it?
Oh, that's a very good question. Personally, I feel that it wasn't social media that changed my life. Like it did play a major role in adding a lot of good stuff in my life. It helped me connect with people and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was maybe it was the way that I think or the way that I did my stuff that generate the followings that I have today. Example, it was because I was willing to put myself out there. I was willing to share my progress. And personally, I didn't think like they would get to where it is today. Like I didn't think like I could make
Mm-hmm.
money. I could get clients by just sharing my progress. I was just doing it because I was bored. I was at the same time, most of the time alone. So I wanted to just share it on social media. Like it was just something that I felt like it was a sharing thing. But yeah, like that just took off and it helped me reach to people who actually want to achieve the same
Mm-hmm.
results.
But why there's so many personal trainers that are not using social media or they're not online? Like they're still using like friend refer friend, go to the gym and hope to hook one of those clients. I mean, they're very passionate about fitness like you too, and they're very good at what they do. But the thing is, why don't they go online? What's the thing
I,
holding
I,
them
I
back?
think I think like to be very, very honest with you, the personal trainers that you're talking about are way more passionate than I am. Personally, I feel like they are way more. They talk about fitness, they eat
Yeah,
fitness,
yeah,
everything they do in their life is about fitness. And I feel
right.
like they are so much more passionate than me. Just that why was it that they're not able to take that step to do social media is also because they don't see much people doing it
Right.
in social media. Like it's actually a very tough thing. If you actually look at like Malaysia market, there's not many people doing social media for fitness. Not many
Yeah.
people are actually putting themselves out there. And again, because maybe fitness is a very people when they look at it, it's a very superficial thing. It's the body. You have to have
Right.
a great body in order to attract customers, right? So I think that's one of the biggest thing is that most people have that mental blockage to
Right.
put themselves out there because again, it could be very scary, right? You
Mm-hmm.
could put it out there and like nobody would give a shit about who you are because you don't have the six pack, you don't have the body that most people want. I think
Right.
that is the issue with what most people think, and that would become like a very huge inferior in them. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's the problem. Yeah.
So when you get started, like why did you put your content on social media? Why did you like make YouTube videos and put on Instagram? Why? What was the reason that got you started in the first place?
Mm. Great question. All right, so I started with Instagram actually. Like I was
Mm,
just putting out pictures, when I was going to the gym. Sometimes you would just train and you would get that pump when, okay, so
right.
what is a pump is when we're training in the gym.
Yeah.
And, when we get that, our muscle gets filled up and it looks really full, we want to just take a picture quick. So I
You
kind of just
feel
did that.
amazing too
I
at the
feel
same
amazing,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you feel amazing, you just want to like show it off. And so that
Right.
was kind of
Right.
me. I was just like, I want to show off to my friends, I want to show it to
Right.
my family. And I took a lot of pictures when I was just in the pump, in kind of that zone. And
Right.
when I did Instagram, I didn't think too much. I was just sharing pictures, but I didn't know that actually there were pages out there that was, resharing and just re-promoting like the pictures. And
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of how my social media journey started. Somebody shared my picture. I got a lot of attention. And I think from there, it's just like the attention just kept coming. In terms of YouTube, I actually got inspired by one of the fitness influencers in the US. I was seeing how these people were changing life just by
Right.
sharing what they were doing. It wasn't anything special, just taking people through their day, showing them what they
Right.
eat, and just enjoying the journey of fitness, making it look from something that's actually really hard to something that's really fun. And I think that really changed the way that I saw how YouTube could penetrate into people's mind. And I think that's just how I just started. I just did it.
I think the internet is so important. Like for me, I got started going to gym like pretty much 5 to 6 times a week and taking this seriously when I saw, I don't know if you know, Mike Chang from formerly Six Pack Shortcut. And he really inspired me. I'm like, dude, like that's an Asian guy. That's a Chinese name, right? And he's big, like he's muscular. Because I always had this belief that, Asian is like, very hard to build muscle because very seldom you see an Asian guy that's huge, jack, big muscle, big shoulders and big chest. And when I saw him, I'm like, man, if I can just get like 10% of that, that's pretty good progress to me. And that's how I got started. And I think a lot of people got started that way too, because most people just can't afford to, spend their first time training with a personal trainer right away. Most of the time they go online and look for ways, look for strategies. And, YouTube is a great one because it's very visual. And you can play the video and you can be doing the same workout, just follow through with the video too, which is interesting. I don't know if you know this, Alex, but many years ago, what people do is that if they want to learn how to work out, let's say they want to do yoga, they'll buy DVDs. And the DVDs will have like chapters, like you do this or this and for that. And now everything is just being placed online, which is insane because even your course is online right now. You have a course online where you teach people how to do, you call it lockdown fitness, right? If I'm not wrong.
I call it, before this I created a Facebook group called Lockdown Fitness, but the course is actually called Rapid. So Rapid is basically like it's a system that I kind of built like for people to just use it every day in order to trim down body fat. And I'm doing this course right now, which is like I do it with them. I make sure that, if the people need the support, I'm there to do it with them. So they get to see me do it. At the same time, they get to try it out themselves. Yeah. So that is the current course. And, it's been going pretty well.
Yeah. So obviously there are a lot of people that are just watching free videos online, right? And then there are people that join your program, they paid money, and then they come and learn with you. What do you think is the difference? How come some people get results and how come some people don't get results?
Straightforward, I would just say that the difference with my course is that it is a much more exclusive experience. Like people get the information, the steps immediately, they get whatever that they want to get answered.
Right.
It's all right there. Depending on depending you get it for free, right? Let's say you get it for free in terms that you just watch one of my videos on YouTube. You get so many different kind of information, which is true, but whether it is designed into a system to help you get and reach to your goal is a different thing. I'm so sorry, man. I think my Wi-Fi is a bit off. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is a bit off. Yeah.
No worries.
Like you said, Malaysia internet.
Yeah. So, I think this is quite interesting because in a way that you said that, by joining your course, they are training with you basically, right? On the same day, at the same time. And then you're really giving them a system. Why I think this is so important is that on the internet, there's just too much information. There's so many different types of fitness gurus. There's so many different, like diet itself, you have at least popular ones, a dozen. Popular ones, right? And people are confused. Do I go carnivorous diet? Do I go keto diet? Do I go this diet, that diet, that? And they do not know what to do. So sometimes a lot of people, they just want like one system and then they have one way and then they just do it. Which is why I think a lot of time, people ask me this question, should I, why would anyone want to buy an online course or, pay for to learn online when there are so much free information on YouTube? And I'd say you're correct. There's so much free information and that's why you buy. Because you don't want many information. You want the boiled down, the simplified version where you just been told what to do and then you just do it and then you see result at the end. Then you're like, oh, that's how you make it happen, right? I've watched a few of your videos. I think your strategy when it comes to, because I don't want to just talk about business. I also want to talk about health. I want to talk about fitness, which is I know you're very big in. I want to talk a lot about more, let's say, the diets. Right now, there are so many types of diets out there. We have as I said, the carnivorous diet, which means you just eat meat all day, every day. And we have the keto diet, which is like extremely popular diet right now. Right? What's your opinion about all these diets? Like, do you think that any ordinary person should just follow them, or what's your opinion on this?
All right. So I personally tried out the keto diet. I personally tried out a few types of diet as well. Low carb diet, no carb diet, high carb diet. And personally, I felt like when I was doing all this kind of diet, it really did affect the way that I feel, the way that my energy and my mood was going through. And I personally think that, all this diet, because I've tried it out myself and I've seen the results, all of them actually do bring out a certain kind of results, but it really depends on your preference, like in the ways that you like to eat, number one, and the way that you feel. I did a keto diet for about 3 weeks and I was in the lowest energy ever. I felt like my energy was just going to die out because I'm a carb lover. I love to eat rice. I love to eat like all kind of breads, all kind of carbohydrates. And to cut that off and only to have fats, it was absolutely suffering for me, especially for someone like me who has a pretty, I would say, insane fitness work ethic. Like I would go to the gym 6 times a week and I would train like heavy weights and stuff. And so these kind of things just affected me. And I realized that it wasn't sustainable. The diet that was being promoted online is not the way to just lose weight. Like a lot of people are saying, this is the only way or this is the fastest way. And the moment we hear fast, the moment we hear like quick and fast, we're like, yeah, I want to try, I'm just trim off all this body fat. So we just make all this adjustment to do it. And the issue with that is that people lack research, they lack experience as well. And because of that, they're listening to people who are, again, taking advantage of this kind of opportunity to profit from it. And these kind of things can be a little bit damaging, low carbohydrates or high protein diets. And so personally, I got fed up. I was so angry. I was just like, this is not the way to lose weight. This is not the way to gain weight. It's just suffering. I didn't like the way that the fitness is approaching this way. I want to just make it as easy as possible. Somewhere where I'm not telling you what to do, like what diet is the best. In fact, I'm just going to give you some scientific profile behind about fitness and dieting. And so for me, how I approach the game is I would always go with calories in, calories out. And with this kind of idea, I would teach people how to break down their calories and create a balanced diet fit for you. Now, again, what's the difference with this and keto diet? Keto diet is that you can see results fast, mainly because when you take off carbohydrates, your muscle is depleted, and that's why all your weights disappear for temporary reasons, okay? But if the moment you consume carbohydrates again, you're just sucking all that weight up again, and you're just pretty much pack on weight. And so these are the confusing thing with people, because a lot of people are looking at short term. What I like to show people is how do you do it long term? How do you be able to get results, sustainable, enjoy your diet? It's not something that is very suffering. I think if you saw my story, right, Desmond, you saw that I like to eat like noodles. I eat crazy
Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? I love to eat like burgers. I love to eat French fries. But the question is, how often do I eat it? And why do I eat it? Why do I consume this while showing people that it is possible? It's not because I'm a superhuman of like, he has a six-pack. No, it's because I actually understand what is the balanced diet for me. How do I actually calculate my calories intake in order to lose weight or gain muscles?
I like that when you mention sustainable, because I personally believe that keto diet is not sustainable, because I believe that carbs, I've tried a low carb thing 10 years ago before it was called keto diet and before it was called any diet at all. And the issue with me was that I cannot think clearly without carbs. I cannot think clearly unless I eat a little bit of carbs. And that really messes up with my career, my productivity. And even when you're lifting weights, you just feel like you cannot lift the normal weights that you're lifting.
Yeah,
you just feel like you're like a zombie most of the time. Like you do lose weight. You do feel, I mean, in terms of weight, if you're just calculating by the numbers, yes, you do. The numbers better, but I just don't think it's sustainable. I think at the end of the day, a balanced diet is a lot more important. And I think people need to also feel happy, because most people measure health just by physical health. Like, oh, I gotta have like the definition of my abs gotta show, definition of my muscle.
10 pounds in order to be accepted.
Exactly. But what about this? What about this health? Most people forget about this, because if you're cutting out a very important part of your diet that you love to eat, it makes you feel really sad. And sometimes that can create other diseases and illness that can come and attack you.
Yes.
Right? Could be depression, could be anxiety, could be a lot worse than that. So a lot of people don't really think about their mental health when it comes to this. So I really think that, as a personal trainer, a lot of people should just also focus on, doing what's best as an overall holistic way for their clients as well. So in terms of this, let's talk a little bit about because you came to Digital Income University, one of my programs that I did, and then you created a 5-day challenge.
Awesome. It was
Thank
super
you.
awesome.
You have a 5-day challenge, and I saw a bunch of testimonials. I saw a bunch of people. Can you share a little bit of stories about some of the people that you're working with, you're training with, and the results they gotten using your formula and using your balanced diet strategies that are a lot more sustainable?
Straightforward, most of the people that sign up with me have the same issues. They have the same problems. A lot of them are not eating enough. And I think because this was such a marketed thing, right? Like, don't eat carbs, make sure that you're training, you make sure you're doing your cardio. A lot of people are focusing on the wrong things. And so it's very funny, like 90% of them have the same problems. And I started to see like, oh my God, like, how is it possible that 90% of the people see the same problem, but they are not making any results? And so obviously that's why they joined the course. And I just clarified all to them. I told them the first thing that you have to remember is that whatever body weight idea that you want, the most important is that your mental health is that it is sustainable enough it is possible for your brain to be able to just lose weight while being okay. Like if you are losing weight and your brain is like dead, it's not worth it. And that's not something that I preach. And so again, one of the things that most people have when they face a challenge in fitness is that they don't know how to diet, they don't know how to eat. And because of that, they don't give themselves permission to eat. They just restrict food and they just stop. They just stop moving ahead because of this problem, right? A lot of people don't have the permission to eat. I mean, who is there to tell them, hey, you can actually eat carbohydrates and still lose weight? A lot of people don't have that knowledge. And because of that, it gets very confusing. Number one is that their diet is that it's already messed up. Number two is that their training is also messed up, because what do most people do when it comes to weight loss? Cardio. They just think cardio, I'm going to do crazy amount of cardio. And that is the problem with people, is that they don't see that cardio doesn't lead to fat loss. It leads to burning calories, but it doesn't lead to fat loss. What leads to fat loss is actually building muscles. When you build muscles, when you build lean muscles, you are able to trim down body fat a lot faster. So that's why you see someone like me, I can consume so much more calories and still not gain any like huge amount of body fat. It's not just because of my training, it's because of my lifestyle. I understand that if I were to consume like calories, if I want to enjoy a burger right now, I have to know I gotta work harder. I gotta work harder for later. It's the same thing like you want to go for a holiday, you gotta make money. And so if you were to spend that kind of money, you gotta make it back somehow, somewhere.
Yes. So I think that's really interesting, because so essentially you're summarizing that, okay, if I want to lose weight right now, I shouldn't just be looking at cardio, which most people are doing that. Like most people that I know, because I go to gyms, and what happens is that I see a lot of people that are new. What they do is that they just do 30 minutes, 45 minutes of cardio treadmills, and then they just walk off, and then they sweated a lot, and then, oh, it's a good day of hard work.
It's
but that's not enough. Yeah, but that's not enough. And you recommend that, hey, let's do a little bit of weights, let's do a little bit of muscle building, because that's going to help in terms of sustainability. Because I know your entire go ahead.
In fact, sorry, I'm going to cut you off. In fact, when I was coaching the clients in my own course, I just scrape up the idea of cardio. Like cardio is only done once or twice a week. The most important factor is to focus on training. Like training. What are you training when you muscle? Which part of your muscle are you training? And why do you train? Why do you do it? Like girls love to do lower body. Guys, we love to do upper body. We like to show our guns. We like to show our chest, our muscles. And so I was just breaking down all these ideas that people have, because they don't understand that. And again, it is very different, because I think the impact that came from me is that I have the results that most people don't. And so I think that's why it's much more effective when I say it compared to like if someone else say it. And so again, I had to change the whole mentality with people, especially with the 90% of the students who are thinking more cardio, less of food, more cardio, less of food. And they were just getting really demotivated when they didn't see instant results. And that's crazy. Yeah.
And it's interesting, because you see the majority of people, they are being taught the wrong thing about nutrition, about how to lose weight. Schools are doing the wrong thing. I don't know if you have that in your school, but when I was young in school, I remember the Milo trucks would come. The Milo is a chocolate malt drink. They will come and say, oh, this is very nutritious and you need to drink this. And they found out that it's filled with sugar, nothing but sugar, and there's not a lot of nutrition inside. And schools don't talk a lot about nutrition. They only talk about fibers. They only talk about vitamins, but they don't really talk about sugar. They don't really talk about how to lose weight. They don't really talk about building muscle. I think that is why I think schools is really crucial in health mentally, physically for everybody, you know,
For sure.
for every student. So I think because a lot of time people cannot get this kind of information through schools or through traditional schoolings, that's why people like you are so important online, because you have the result to show, and then you're telling them that this is how I do it, and my way is a lot more sustainable.
For
And I
sure,
think
yeah.
that's really, really important. So I want to ask in terms of, you know, I want to go back to the topic of weightlifting.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking into weightlifting in a way that, oh, you gotta, because in the situation right now is that you know that the gyms right now, they're not doing so well in the lock. I mean, they can't be open right now.
Yeah.
And we expect that many of the gyms, after this lockdown, they're not gonna be opening anytime soon, or they're gonna close down, unfortunately, right? And I love going to the gym because I love the fact that you go in there and I meet people like you, which is really motivated, you know, people that are in the same mindset.
We're just there to improve. We're just there to
correct.
improve.
And which is awesome. Like you're meeting like-minded people in the same place. How many other places out there that are like that? But the problem is, after this lockdown, the gyms are gonna be closed. They're not gonna be open. What do you foresee is gonna happen in the workout, fitness, weightlifting community?
Great question. So I did talk to a few of my friends who actually own gym. I don't know if you know the brand Anytime Fitness.
Yeah.
Anytime Fitness, and there's another brand called Life and Fitness. So these gym are actually owned by my friend, and I actually just met them recently, and they were telling me how it is crazy. Literally everything is just off in terms of the system, the customers, and just a lot of things were not very uncertain. It was so uncertain to the point that they had to shift their focus from the offline world to the online. Like they were telling me that they want to start doing virtual trainings, something that is relative to, you know, doing at home, safe, it's durable. And the way I look at it, I was actually telling them, like, you know, what happens in the future. And they were telling me a lot about, you know, there most likely be a restriction in terms of the amount of people that could come to the gym. Maybe everyone have to start writing a booking, like they have to start booking their time. And then maybe there could only be 20 people who could use the gym. But again, the reason why the gym is so restricted is because it's true that viruses and you know, germs are easily spread in the gym because of the sweat, you know. And so a lot of people are just they don't see the importance of why the gym is closed. They think like, oh, the gym is closed, please open the gym. But they don't see the safety, especially during times like this. And so the way I look at it is that gym is not going to be as open as before. Not anyone can just come in. Everyone has to be, you know, they have to get their temperature check. At the same time, they might have to book, because I was talking to one of my friends whose father went to play golf in Tropicana. And he said that he had to book a session in golf about 2 weeks earlier in order to play 2 weeks later. And he had to go at 6 a.m. in the morning to play a 10 a.m. session. And that's crazy. That's mind-blowing to me. And I was just questioning a lot about why. And golf, and as I don't really know too much about golf, but I know like in golf, there's not many people at one time.
It's a big space too,
It's a big space. But this is the gym. We're talking about the gym. The gym is like, it's closed, right? We have to get close to each other, and we have to help each other and stuff like that. And so I personally think that the gym in Malaysia, it's definitely not going to open anytime soon. I feel maybe 9th of June is not going to happen as well. Mainly because people are just unsure of how do we actually take care of others. Because again, it's so easy to look at it as like, just create the system, you know, scan and all that. But what if it actually messed up? What if this actually spiked up more cases and stuff? So I personally don't really have high hopes for gym. I'm trying to focus on other areas now that I can actually take control, like home workouts and just stuff like that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends who are buying dumbbells and buying, I don't know if you know, Bowflex. They're buying a lot of workout equipments, putting it at home now, which I think is going to really affect gym as a whole entire industry in itself. Like, I love gym. I think gym is like a temple. Really, when you go to gym, you feel like, man, it's a different feeling. The music, the
different
people,
environment.
Correct. Yeah. At home is different. At home, you're like, oh man, you know, the energy is just so different. Yeah. But that's why I think gym is so important. But I would hate to see the gym industry get wiped out. I don't know if you saw the news this morning. I was reading the news that was saying that the original Gold's Gym in Venice Beach in California, in Los Angeles, they are closed. Not only that, but they have been invaded by homeless people. Like that's like a legendary gym, right?
That's
If you
crazy.
ask me,
That's crazy.
for workout person, that's like the highest level of temple. That's like one of the biggest
Have you
artifacts
been
in
to
the
the
world. Right?
gym? Have you been there
I've been
before?
outside. I've not been inside, because it's always filled with people.
Yeah.
But in America, the gym is crazy. I don't know. Have you ever seen? I've been there before. I actually seen the pictures or videos. In America, gyms are like 20 times the
Everywhere
size
is
here.
the gym. Yeah. Everywhere
Yeah,
is like
everywhere has
crazy.
a gym, and they are crazy about workout.
Yeah.
And most of them are like 24 hours.
Mm.
And in Malaysia, it's very different. Malaysia, the gyms are very tiny, and there's a lot of space for like dance class, yoga class. But in America, a lot of machines. They have
Weightlifting.
hundreds, yeah, weightlifting, and they have like triple of every set or
Mm,
double of every set. In Malaysia, you only got one, and then you got to share.
mm,
You got to wait if you go on peak hours.
yeah.
So I definitely miss the gym, and that is why you're giving people an option now. Hey, you can't go to the gym right now, but you
Yeah.
can join my online environment. Because I think
Mm,
environment is very important. People, whether they work out or not, has nothing to do with strategies, has nothing to do with tactics, has nothing to do with information. If you
mm.
want workout routines, if you want diet strategies, they are all online, free for
Yeah,
you.
plenty online, correct.
Yeah. But what people want is an environment as in a bunch of similar, like-minded people. They are working towards the same goal. And I think that's really crucial. And what you are doing with your course, your e-learning group, what you're really doing is that you're telling people, hey, you know what? I'm all in on this. I'm gonna create this gym environment, and then you all come in with me, and then we train together. And I think
Mm,
that's what's gonna happen. And I see a lot of this happening in the women's workout industry. But so it's really interesting. I felt like the women and men is totally separated, because the
very
women one, they are
different.
more
Yeah.
focused on like yoga, dancing, and a lot of like planking and stuff like that. So I think this creates an opportunity for a lot of people as well. Now let's go back to social media. I want to talk a little bit about social media before we cap this
Sure.
off, right? Let's say if there's someone out there that wants to be like you, someone that
Mm.
maybe loves to work out, don't mind sharing with the world what they know and how they get to where they are, right? They want to leverage social media. How can they grow their social media following?
How can I go? Okay. I think the number one thing that I personally feel that most people should actually do is to take off the intention of trying to capitalize social media.
Yeah.
Because again, if you actually look at the statistic, that's like 90% of the way people think, especially if they want to join into social media now, because this is where people are actually spending their time in. A
Yeah.
lot of people are just thinking social media is a way to make money. And a lot of people can actually sense that. Like I personally can sense someone who's just coming in, who just want to, use this as a new way to build their career. Now, I personally had that privilege where I did not think that way. I didn't think that way. After years later, I started to understand how to play the game instead
Yep.
of just coming in and like, oh, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. A lot of people see that as the opportunity, but they don't see the behind the scenes where it actually takes a lot of time to build up a name. It takes up time to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And personally, I feel that even if you have results or not, you have to be able to know how to market yourself in the way that you're different than the rest. Don't come in and tell me to do another keto diet, because everyone is like, there's so much information. So what makes you different? So I personally feel like take off the intention is the most important thing, and then try to just have the good intention of just pick a niche, right? Like what you always tell me, pick a niche. And for me, my niche was motivation. I didn't start off as a fitness fanatic where I knew everything about fitness. I was more of a motivation person. I like to talk about something that is I would say maybe short term. Like I like to be able to just get people's butt off the chair and just go to the gym, even if it's just for like 30 minutes. Like for me, I'm more of that guy. I like to say stuff like that. I like to push people that way. And for
because
some reason,
really mindset is everything, isn't it? When it comes to fitness, I would say it's 90%.
Mindset is everything. It is not even it's like 99%, because the thing is, I always say, like, it's not about whether you don't give a good workout, but it's you getting to the gym or you doing the exercise, getting started is the most important factor. The starting point is the hardest, because I've talked to many people, and a lot of people tell me like going to the gym, right? It's like, I'm too tired, I finished my work. It's the same thing as social media. It's that first step. Like I'm scared. Like what if people don't follow me? What if people don't like me, or they say I'm not good enough? And the thing is, there will be people like this, but the thing is, where do you want to focus? You want to focus on the negative, and you focus on positive. Positive is that you could just keep focusing on why are you doing social media. Like, if you're doing social media for money, you're gonna burn out real quick. You're gonna feel like this is not for me. And personally, I've seen many people go through this. A few of my friends are actually going through that. And again, it is a scary place because again, social media is like the marketplace right now. You put yourself out there and if nobody responds to you, it is very demotivating. But again, there has to be the intention. Like, why are you doing this? Are you doing this for money? Are you doing this to help people? Like, what is the
What's the biggest challenge for you being a social media fitness influencer?
The biggest challenge? Coming out with contents every day. So for me personally, my biggest challenge with social media is I have to come with contents. I have to shoot contents. And like I said, my content is very different than most fitness people. They are more of the workout and all that. Like, I do that as well, but my focus isn't just all that. Mine is a lot on the pictures, the visual, right? The results, and storytelling about how I use fitness to change my life and all that kind of stuff. So I do that, and that is probably my strategy. I like to just share about what is the outcome that you can get from fitness, and not really from just, this is the proper way to do bicep, because everyone's doing that. Everyone's sharing about biceps and triceps and chest.
Yeah.
So what would make me a little bit more unique is that I'm going to just go a little bit more distant, like a little bit further from these people, and just share a little bit more personal stuff. Like, I would say, like, I am much more, I would come off a lot more as a personal influencer. Like, I would say something more personal that actually could relate with people rather than professional. Like, I don't just always talk about the abs and this is the that and this. Like, there's too many people doing this. And I have a good friend called Jordan Yeo, and he is like the master of that. And he has really taken most of the market in this. And personally, if I were to enter the game and challenge him on that, it would just crush me. And so for me, the hardest thing is to actually find out which content works and how do I be consistent in that while dealing with the negative,
So for someone that want to just get started with social media, like maybe their intention is just to purely, they want to get started because they want to share their message. They feel like they have something very beautiful that they want to share, maybe to teach people how to cook or teach people something, right? How can they get started? Like, what would be one tip that you give to them that you wish you were able to tell yourself early on in your, starting your beginning of your social media journey?
Now, keep it simple. Keep it simple for yourself and keep it simple for people. And enjoy the ride. I guess that would be what I would say to myself. Ever since I saw how social media was a platform where you could gather attention and all that, I started to overcomplicate things. I wanted to maximize my time and all that. I realized that people didn't follow me for that reason. They followed me because I was just simple. I just keep it simple. Like, hey, this is my lifestyle. I eat this.
I think they follow you because they're following Alex Chee. Because at the end of the day, the person behind the brand is very important, right? If you don't like the person for some reason, maybe they don't like your hair, maybe they don't like your face, maybe they don't like how you sound. No matter how good your tips is, no matter how good your strategy is, that's not gonna work, right?
So I feel like just keep it simple, because a lot of people, when they enter the game, they just want to perfect the game. Yeah. I am okay. If there was a loser, like a person who hates losing, it's me. I hate losing in life because I've always been a loser in a way. And so I had to learn a lot of things with nobody guiding me, and I had to just really understand how it is to play. But going into the game with the intention of wanting to perfect everything, wanting to come up the most perfect person is bullshit. Like, there's no such thing as being perfect. In life, we're going to have up and down. And so again, it's just coming in with a very simple, clear intention. If you want to help people, that should be a focus. Second thing, enjoy the ride. Enjoy doing this, but don't depend on it. Because if you were to depend on this, that's when your intentions get to become a little bit sidetracked. And so I think the biggest advice I would just give is just keep it simple. Keep everything simple. Like, your content should be simple. It should be easy to understand. You should keep it simple. Don't take it too hard, too negative when things don't go your way. Try to change things. Try to adjust away adjust along the way. And at the same time, learn to fail. Learn to just accept failure as a thing that is going to come, because social media is the same thing as any other thing. It's the same thing as building a career. You're not going to have everything perfect. You're not going to get all the attention. And a lot of people would, the moment they don't want to accept failure, they will start thinking of, I want to do it, the cheating way. I want to buy followers. I want to do this and that. And all this crap, all these ways are just not sustainable. It's just not, it's not the way. I know a few people in Malaysia, they bought followers, and they are still the same a year ago. And they bought, like, I have this one kid, I won't name his name, but he's a friend of mine. And I just recall seeing his followings went from like 3,000 followers to like 200K. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Where do you get so much followings from? What do you do? And he's from a rich family, right? And so he's just showing off whatever that he has, that he possesses, but it's nothing that is relatable and nothing that people can actually kind of take from. It's not something
There's
that
no value.
yeah, there's no value
Right.
in his contents, right? So why would people follow that? And it's all very obvious. And it's very obvious that he did it because maybe it makes him feel more superior than others. Like, hey, I got more numbers than you, blah blah. So I think that's the problem with people, is that they always try to overcomplicate things. They think that buying followers means you would respect me. It's just like the same thinking as if I buy a Mercedes Benz, but before this I drove a Myvi, you would respect me so much more. If I have a new Benz, you would see my car and you would respect me, and you would start to like me more. And I think that's the
Right.
issue with people. They don't understand that it's not that is the wrong intention, and that would lead to more failure. So I think it's just doing the right things, enjoying the ride, keep it simple, be persistent. This is a long-term game. It's not a short-term race. It's a long-term
Right.
thing. You want to build a name, you want to enjoy yourself. And yeah, just do it that way. You probably will see success in some forms.
That's really, really good tip. Now, if my followers and people that are listening to this podcast, they want to find out more about you, can they find out more about you? Do you have a web address they can send them to?
Find out more about me in terms of like
Let's
social
say they want to
media.
social media, or they want to follow you, they want to get to know more about your course, anything like that.
Yeah, you can just check me out at my Instagram at Alex_CYK. Instagram is
Okay.
like my portfolio. It's like where I share everything, whether it's my business or my lifestyle. I
Right.
just do everything on Instagram because it's so flexible. It's not something that I just have to stick to one profession. It's something that I could just be flexible. I could just open my wings and just, hey, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And yeah, social media is the place that you can find me. Instagram.
Fantastic.
Especially.
Thank you so much, Alex, for spending time with us today. Thank you
Pleasure.
for the value that you're giving. Appreciate it, Alex.
Thank you so much, Desmond. You have been a great mentor, and I can tell you that your knowledge and the things that you teach is like super straightforward. Super
Thank
awesome.
you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm.